I now move on to Kaza Gunyas. He's from Arbonaut and a specialist in all things forest. But before that, I would like to play a small video from Arbonaut just to summarize what kind of work Arbonaut does. Then we move on to her. JK sir, can you play V35 track?
Arbonaut, a technology company in Jiangsu, offers spatial data solutions in the field of natural resources, such as forestry inventory, spatial data analysis, and related software and training. Development cooperation projects that support the sustainable use of the world's natural resources are an important part of Arbonaut's operations. The use of forests and other natural resources is closely linked to reducing climate change. International funding has been provided to developing countries to improve forest management and increase carbon sequestration. To ensure the sustainable use of natural resources, it must be possible to map their current state and monitor changes. If it is known that the forest is disappearing, but it is not known where, why, and how, the situation cannot be changed. Arbonaut enables decision makers to have up-to-date information on the state of natural resources to support decision making. In addition to spatial data solutions, Arbonaut supports states in drawing up and implementing plans and regulations for the sustainable use of natural resources. Arbonaut also helps in better land use management and evaluates, for example, the use of bioenergy. Through technology and know-how, Arbonaut helps states to move towards sustainable development goals. Forests are not just about wood or biodiversity, but projects must always take into account the livelihoods and rights of people living in and around forests. All of Arbonaut's projects take into account the people who use the forests, and especially the most vulnerable, such as indigenous peoples or people with disabilities and their livelihoods. Cooperation with other companies, organizations, and public actors enables environmentally and humanly sustainable operations.
Hi, I'm Katja from Arbonaut. In our company, we are promoting sustainable forest management, and we try to do our part to help stopping the loss of forest in the world. That's why we have developed a platform for monitoring forest landscapes and for identifying local causes of deforestation and forest degradation. With this, we want to enable environmental and forest authorities to plan counter activities against forest loss. I will shortly demonstrate the platform now. It is a web mapping system, and it's based on satellite images that give a good overview where deforestation happens. The platform consists of a map viewer that combines relevant raster and vector layers from different sources. Here we have, for example, land use data, satellite images, conservation areas, a forest cover map, and different layers that have been derived from satellite data, for example in Google Earth Engine, such as this layer, which shows where forest has been cleared recently. There is a set of tools available, for example, to query information from the map data, to measure distances or areas, print a PDF of the current map view, or to create simple reports. Through the platform, it is possible to collect field observations for verifying forest loss that has been identified from satellite data. A marker can be created in a suspected deforestation area to flag a location that should be visited in the field. The point is visible to everybody who has access rights to this particular project. The coordinates of that location can also be shared with others by email. The platform includes a mobile app with the same functionality, which can be used to navigate to the marked location in the field. The status of the sample point can be updated in the field with the observations made there. Additional information can be added on the course, the size, and the date of the change. The color of the marker changes according to the provided information. Also, attachments can be uploaded, such as photos of the location or other documents.
it is possible to work in offline mode. The changes made in the field are synchronized with the central database once network connection is available again.
I hope you have enjoyed this short introduction to our platform for monitoring forest cover loss. Our team is happy to provide more information, so please get in touch and take the time to visit our website. Thank you.
So it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Rajiv, also for showing the video. That actually is a good introduction for what I'm going to talk. Initially, you asked our CEO, Tuomo Kaurana, to speak today, but he was unfortunately not available. So I'm glad I got the chance to speak here. And we have all in Arbonaut in common goal to save our green environment. I'm very happy to see so many young people being online here to be part of the Act Now initiative and try to make a difference and change things in the future. As Arbonaut is focusing on providing technology for forest monitoring and forest management, my speech is not related to plastic pollution, even though it's a very important topic. But I was thinking what I would like to share with you all today. And I thought the best is I'll focus on two of our projects in Asia to share some experience we have made there. As you've seen from the earlier video, we use modern technology, including machine learning and artificial intelligence to extract information from satellite images. For example, where deforestation is happening, where are the big hotspots where a lot of changes are taking place in the forest. And we try to help local governments in tropical countries to map these changes and to keep track so that the right actions can be taken there. But actually technology and all the knowledge how to do the technical side is absolutely not enough. So very much linked to the previous speaker that what is very important is to include those people that live in these forest landscapes, the people that live around the forest, that use the forest, and work with them and try to understand their needs and their circumstances. Because many of them live in big poverty, but no one knows the forest as well as they do. And so we can learn a lot from them, and we absolutely need to get these local communities on board in the process to achieve the bigger goal of saving the forest landscapes. And one of the side outputs of our project, we try to always also raise awareness among the local populations why the restoring or saving the forest landscape is also beneficial for their livelihoods, because forests can also bring financial income for the local populations. They can sell forest products that they sustainably extract from the forests. Intact forest landscapes with nice wildlife and biodiversity will attract ecotourism to the area, which brings financial benefits for local communities. And financial benefits can also come in form of carbon credits. But all this requires sustainable management of forest. And for me, one of the most valuable experiences in our work in Arbonaut were exactly those projects where we got to meet with the local people and very directly involve local communities. I was very grateful to spend several weeks in Nepal and Cambodia. Unfortunately, not yet India, but very close to the Indian border, where I met people in small villages and very remote areas.
Katja,
because
just
we have.
interrupting for a second. We do have a mini forest project in India, so I'll get in touch with you. And I need students and local communities to develop that, and maybe we can find resources to do it. I'll discuss it later on.
Great.
Yep.
Okay, great.
So there's a chance to come to India.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, in fact, the last year's World Environment Day, so exactly 1 year ago, I participated in a celebration in southern Nepal, close to the Indian border. There's a forest plantation area in Sagarnath. It's one of the oldest plantation areas in Nepal, teak and eucalyptus plantation. And we have a local partner, Bakas Renewable Energy from Kathmandu. They have built in that quite underdeveloped area there in the southern Nepal, they have built a pellet factory, and they work together with the small communities in Sagarnath area. So the biomass pellets are made from the shrubs and bushes there in this plantation forest. So the trees are not touched, but just the shrub layer. And these shrubs are dried and then converted in a factory into biomass pellets. And pellets are a form of renewable energy. So it's a form of green energy. And the local industries now are considering, or some of them have already done the change. They are considering now to change from coal and oil to these biomass pellets. The project has been targeting brick factories, dairy industries, and large kitchens for commercial use. And some of them have already replaced the coal by renewable biomass pellets. And it might sound like, okay, we destroy biodiversity in such a project, but actually in this case, the shrubs that are harvested are an invasive species, so they belong to that forest and they actually harm the forest. So the local forest department is happy that the shrubs are extracted. And at the same time, the forest fire risk is reduced, because in the dry and hot summer there in the southern Nepal, these shrubs become very dry and they are highly inflammable. So there are every year a lot of forest fires. And if the shrubs are taken out, the fire risk is much lower. So in the end, we actually help to protect the forest by harvesting the shrubs. And to come back to the local people there, they are a very important part of this process, because they are employed in the shrub harvest. They found jobs there. They work in the new established factory, and so they have also financial benefit from this process. They are also signing a deal with the pellet company that they receive annual share in the pellet sales once the production is running profitably. So they are directly benefiting also from, not just in form of jobs, but also from the sales. And we have met in the forest with the workers there and also in the villages, and people were generally very happy about the development. And one elderly man who was working there in the shrub harvest, he told us that in the past he never thought, or in the community, they never thought that this forest would ever bring any financial benefits for them. But now through these projects, they have realized that this forest is also an opportunity, and that it is very important for the community because it can sustain their lives. It brings them jobs and some income, and also they realize it is important to treat the forest sustainably and responsibly, to not lose it, to live with it, and not take more than what they can give back, let's say, to be in harmony. And a similarly nice experience I had just a few months ago in Cambodia, where we met with local communities in the Koh Kong province. It's a very beautiful tropical forest area. And there we are having a project with the UNDP, the United Nations Development Program. Arbonaut is developing an information system for environmental data for the Ministry of Environment in Cambodia. And this information system is used to store any kind of geospatial data for managing protected areas, but also to find out which areas should be protected strictly and which areas can be used by the local populations in a sustainable way. So to identify between strict protection and less strict protection. And there the knowledge of the local communities is extremely important. So we traveled there in those to those remote villages to find out in which places they have spotted and seen endangered animal species, so endangered wildlife. And they were able to exactly show us on the map where they have seen elephants, where they have seen endangered monkeys. They were very well aware where the endangered species are. And this information is very important for the Ministry of Environment to create maps which areas should be put under strict protection. So they directly use the valuable knowledge of the local communities who every day use the forest. And at the same time, these people, they need the forest, they collect forest products for their daily, to sustain their lives, for daily use, such as honey, mushrooms, rattan, bamboo, and other forest products. So it needs to be also considered which parts of the forest they need. And so at the same time, we asked also which areas they need for sustaining their lives. And that is also taken into consideration then by Ministry of Environment, that these areas are not put into strict protection, but they are instead regulated under sustainable use for the communities, even if it's inside a protected area. So this kind of compromise between forest protection and forest use is very important, and it's extremely important to include the local communities and into these consultations, that they feel on board, they feel considered, they feel respected, and at the same time also then create awareness among them how important it is to save the forests and to have also strictly protected zones where nobody is allowed to enter. And all this data that is collected there from the field is then part of the information system that Ministry of Environment can use. Yeah, these were two examples that came to my mind for today. And I think what is very important is to have actions on all levels, to act as individual, to start already today changing your own habits. But then also it is very important that governments, local communities, educational institutions, youth, NGOs, and private companies work together. And that hear each other, learn from each other, and try to achieve the common goal together. And we need to very much think of those people who will be affected by new regulations, that decisions are made so that we consider local communities and how will they be affected, to make them feel part of the process, so that they feel as well ownership of the whole development, to support it. Often these people do not have a chance for a higher education or a good education, but they have a better connection with nature than us, and we can learn from them and they can learn from us. So that is maybe my main message for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kaja. Thank you so much. And I visited Argonaut several times, starting from 2008. Tuomo is a very good friend of us, and the kind of work you do is marvelous. I understand that forestry is a central theme to Finland, but it's very well organized and very well cultivated. And then you have spread the culture, technology to all other countries as well. So we are very well packed from here till 10 o'clock in the night, and after that we have organized 2 student sessions. So these all little students will be discussing everything that they did today and what are their ideas about protecting environment. So thank you so much, Kaza. We hope you can stay a little longer with us. We have several guests and their slots are there. Pekka is here. Pekka is from Finland, and he is an innovator. He worked with the Ministry of Environment in Finland, and he innovated Envirate, a mobile app, groundbreaking mobile app which can rate your environment and also track your trees that we plant. And currently he is the CEO of TreeBuddy, which is again a very unique concept around the world, how to use environment, education, business, and communities together into one goal. So Pekka, and I have Lily Platt. JK, can you bring her on the screen?
He's already there on the spotlight.
Lily, I can't see her on the spotlight. Wait.
He is there.
Uh, Lily Plath.
Lily, oh, just a minute.
That was Mahi.
Just a minute.
Uh,
Just a minute. I am doing it.
okay.
Yeah.
And Rashmi is also here. Rashmi is Miss India Earth 2021. She also runs a company which is very, very environmental, eco-friendly. Can you bring Rashmi also and Lily also both on the screen so we can
Yeah.
chat together a bit? Okay, so here we have, first of all, Lily, thank you so much for being here. And
Oh, no,
our,
thank you very much.
our students are just asking, can we call her ma'am? Because she is the same age as us. So I say you can call her auntie also. And let us see how she replies. Lily, thank you very much. Stay with us and we'll be interacting with you. Some questions also. Rashmi is here. Rashmi is Miss India Earth 2021. Unfortunately, we have shot over a little bit of time. And Pekka is going to stay with us. I'm not going to leave him. So any questions, student, you want to ask Rashmi? She will make an opening statement, two-line statement, and then you can ask a few questions because the students are always inspired by beauty queens. So Rashmi, over to you.
Hi everyone. It's lovely to be part of such an amazing initiative. It beautifully goes hand in hand in what I believe and what I've been working for a few years. So yes, any questions on climate change, how as students, as a children, we can contribute to what's happening and how we are able to replace a lot of things with single-use plastic. Definitely, please shoot your questions, and I'm most happy to answer them.
Okay, before that, I'll turn to Pekka. Pekka, any statements I already introduced, and some of the students know it also because they have done tree planting with your app. We recently had a tree planting ceremony, Plant and Care for Peace in our school with 30, 40 students. They had specially designed T-shirt and Tree Buddies logo and Mika's uh, Plant and Care for Peace. So, Pekka.
Hi, hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
I'm honored to be here with all you guys. Super great. Once again, your magnificent event. Wow, I'm so honored, as I said, and I'm happy to be here.
So students, you want to ask questions from Pekka or Rashmi, please raise your hand and we'll bring you on the screen and you can ask. Both are experts in their own field. One is beautiful also. I don't know about Pekka. Yes, there are several hands. So who do I put on the screen? JK sir, can you do that? Help me out.
Yes, I'm doing that till now. Anshika, Akshita, she hasn't asked any question, I feel.
Yes, Akshita, shoot your question. Unmute. Yes.
Greetings, everyone. My question is to Kashmi ma'am. Ma'am, what inspired you to become an activist and focus especially on plastic pollution?
To be honest, when I was your age, I was oblivious to pollution and I had no clue because I was raised in a farmhouse and we had no pollution there. Nobody would throw plastic around. It was a beautiful grassland. Only when I moved to the city, I realized the number of health concerns there were and how much of biodiversity we were actually breaking because of the kind of plastic waste that was produced and the way it is currently being disposed. And I wasn't really happy looking at the numbers. So I thought, okay, it's about time someone changes or someone makes a stand. You don't have to be really big at what you're doing, but if you start a little bit at your house, it makes a difference. And when I understood how big of a difference one person can make, and we can it just inspires you to do more and you want more people to follow through, and that's just it.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Here.
Next.
Akshit.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, sir. Greetings of the day, everyone. My question is to Pekka. Well, my question is that I'd like to know a little bit about green jobs and how students can contribute in the environment by doing all of these green jobs.
Wow, some question.
Thank you. Yeah, great. First of all, that you have such a let's say intuition or basic motivation on doing beneficial things for the planet, because that's number one thing. What is your intention when you want to start something? If your intention is pure enough, then things will be happening good sooner or later. You can trust on that. So basically, it all, in my view, it goes so simply like, first we have to feel the gratitude towards all this existence. From this gratitude comes this kind of compassionate feeling, which is actually not your feeling. It's just compassionate general existence. And then you want to maybe to ask, what can I help? And then it's only a matter of your background, your knowledge base, etc., that you will certainly find things. So there's no one answer on this, but you just and when you're a young person, when you go to study something, you don't usually right away find your calling, but you just have to believe strongly that, hey, I will find my calling, and it's something that you will be enjoying in your life. And sometimes you have to go first here and then always keep on asking, if this is really strongly inclined with my bigger, let's say, aspiration, deepest aspiration, what I have promised myself to do. Sometimes you have to say that, oh no, it was for a while, but it's not anymore. Then you have to go to another place and but keep on searching, and one day you will find your calling. So
Akshit?
green jobs,
Yes,
they are.
go on, please.
So green jobs are, of course, something that I guess there are not in newspapers, green jobs department that you can just go and pick yourself the one that you love most. That's why you have to go and use sometimes your original thinking on trying to find right people. For example, some teachers might know a little bit. Happy to see Ronnie here, and as a great example. And we have so many in whole this event at the moment. So there's no one answer to that, but please use your creativity as much as you can, and take care of your inner purity. It will come.
To add to Pekka's answer, actually, it was a great question. Actually, all of us can do our green jobs along with the jobs and things we do. Like Pekka, for instance, he's technological innovator. If he invented several mobile apps, he can do several things also. If he wanted to make money, he could have got millions of dollars for that. I remember my association with him because the first app that he developed was EnviRate, which is the first app in this world to rate your environment. When you travel outside, you go to websites and you find out what kind of hotel it is, what kind of place it is, and you get lots of reviews. For the environment, you don't have anything. So he developed an app that is called EnviRate, and you can take your mobile app. Anybody can take that, and you can rate your immediate environment on how you see, how you breathe, and how you hear it. And you can generate a picture also. He has roamed around in cities across the world, rating all the cities, and most of the cities are on the green map also. We did it for Dehradun, and in 2 days' time, along with Pawnee and Pekka's team, we rated the entire Dehradun, which became the first city in the entire world entire India to become environmentally rated. He then developed a TreeBuddy Earth. Now he's the CEO of that, which actually combines environmental education, business together, because they have a company called TreeBuddy. You can buy plants for your friends, your relatives on occasions, on your birthday, anything like that. And they will plant it on your behalf in any part of the world where they have association. And the money that you give, half the money goes out to the tree planters, the local communities. So you see, it's a whole network of how to supplement things together. So actually, he's doing a green job. I'm doing a green job because actually I'm a teacher, taking classes of computer science, whatever. But what we are doing is something trying to sensitize towards environment and climate action. Rashmi is a beauty pageant. She can earn a lot of money, but she runs a company also, and she devotes some part of it to her green job. So green job can become part and parcel for life. That's exactly what we want to do. no matter wherever you are, no matter whatever you do, you can always have this environmental awareness and climate action with you. Small steps, short steps, but together. So thank you so much. Any more questions? Anyone? We have 9 more minutes in this time slot, because after that we turn on to Lily is also there. We turn on to Lily, and then we have a fantastic interview of Dr. Niall Macan, who is one of our patrons. He's currently climbing some mountains, but two of our students, he's National Geographic Explorer, and he is also the trustee of Royal Geographical Society. And Lily Plath is already waiting. Can you bring Lily Plath on the screen? You also have something to say.
Just,
JK, sir?
just a minute. I think Arya want to ask some question.
One quick question, please.
I have a question for Rashmi ma'am. Ma'am, how industries and factories play huge role in climate change. How would you participate?
Your voice is breaking up, dear. Could you say that again?
Yeah, sure. Factories and industries usually participate in pollution and climate change. So how would you, Miss Earth, engage with the business and industries to encourage sustainable practices and cooperate and promote their social responsibility?
Right. So that's actually a very great question. I would like to answer it with an example of what I am doing. So I have a pharmaceutical company that I manage and run, and how we are keeping it sustainable is making sure everything that's bought in is friendly to the environment to get go. And that starts with the products that we are actually getting in. What I mean by that is even the raw materials that's being used, they are not mined. These are these are Ayurvedic products, so it's usually bugs and leaves and and barks and roots, as I stated. So even growing that, we make sure there are no pesticides or chemicals that are used that erode the soil and make changes that way. So we make sure that's there. The packaging material that we use, they are extremely eco-friendly, and we do not provide packing material unless it's asked. So you can bring in your own container and we will refill it for you. Apart from that, making sure that you contribute to a certain level of awareness would be really good. So we make sure to have a lot of tours from children to showcase how we are able to do this. So it not just keeps the young ones, like yourselves, encouraged to do something like this or continue making more progress in these areas, but also develop various technologies that use renewable source of energy. For example, you can grow up and you do something in hydroelectricity that probably we could benefit from, and that's another green job that that helps sustainability. So just a small encouragement like that, I think, is something that we are doing right now, and that's how I would like to make a small change.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. If some questions are remaining, then of course I can get Rashmi again to interact in a longer session for several hours, because this is a celebratory kind of event. But I'm sure that these kids are very inspired by the kind of guests they're interacting with. And they have been working day in and day out for several days now, and they are there for almost 24 hours today. So that is that was our purpose. So can I turn on to Lily? Lily, are you okay?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much for asking.
Okay, say something, please. They want to hear you, because they are all your age, more or less or more, so they'll be much more inspired. Tell your story to them.
Oh, yes, sir. May I by any chance have access to a screen share, please? Do I have access to a screen share?
Tell them how you started beating plastic pollution and how much you have bet it already.
I shall. Okay.
Lily, you're on mute.
Lily, you have to unmute yourself. And start it again, please.
Oh, sorry. I didn't really know how that happened. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, sorry about that. So I will start again. Once again, I apologize for the audio problem. So how does plastic pollution affect climate change? By me. I'm the founder of my initiative, Release Plastic Pickup. I founded it when I was 7 in 2015. And I use my initiative to encourage people to reduce their plastic usage and say no to single-use plastic. And I also pick up plastic to keep it out of the environment and away from nature. And I teach, and as a way to inspire the fellow young people in the meeting, I often use the 5 R's: recycle, renew, reuse, refuse single-use plastic, and refill your reusable water bottle. And ever since I started in 2015, I've picked up over 300,000 pieces of plastic, and also all of which have been responsibly disposed of and recycled. And a couple fun facts about me. I enjoyed many different cuisines from around the world, and I'm a very big fan of history, mythology, and animation. And I am also fluent in, almost fluent in Japanese and I also have fairly other different linguistic skills as well. So, on plastic pollution. Plastic pollution is a huge problem for today's oceans and water systems. Plastic is everywhere, and plastic is one of the most common materials in our economy and amongst the biggest polluters on Earth. It is found everywhere, from plastic bottles, bags, food packaging, to clothing and car parts. And plastic is durable and it lasts forever. Excuse me. However, that doesn't have the attention is how plastic pollution affects climate change. Here are some examples of plastic pollution in our waters today. So, greenhouse gases. Nearly all plastic is made from materials such as ethylene and propylene. I really hope I pronounced this correct, which are made from fossil fuels, mostly oil and gas. The process of extracting and transporting those fuels and then manufacturing plastic creates billions of tons of greenhouse gases. And plastic is one of the most present polluters on Earth, and it's made to last, and it does, often for 400 years or more. And at every step in its lifetime, from its production and its refining, and its way and the way it is managed as a waste product, even long after it has been thrown away. Plastic creates greenhouse gas emissions that contribute to the warming of our world. And this is also an example of how plastic is, of course, produced in factories and other buildings as well. The world's growing production of plastics, about 100 million tons annually, and 95% of which is discarded after a single use, which leaves a huge amount to be disposed of. It is not just filling landfill sites and threatening oceans and marine life. It's accelerating climate change. The boom of in fracking has made oil prices drop, and cheap oil for a rise. Plastic pollution is worldwide. Excuse me. And this is also an example of landfills in a natural area. The world's excessive plastic use threatens attempts to meet the Paris Climate Agreement. A report from the Center of International Environmental Law stated that the impact of plastic production on the world's climate in the last year will be the same as the output of 189 coal-fired power stations. By 2050. When plastic production is expected to have tripled, it will be as much as what 615 power stations emit. So how is plastic implicated in climate change? Of almost the millions of tons of plastic produced, less than 12% is recycled, which leaves a staggering amount to be disposed of. In landfills or incinerated at these levels, greenhouse gas emissions from the plastic life cycle threaten the ability to keep the global temperature rise below 1.5 Celsius. But I'm unfortunately unaware what that is in Fahrenheit. This is also another example of greenhouse gases. Carbon sinks. In our oceans, which provide the largest natural carbon sink for greenhouse gases, plastic leaves a deadly legacy. It literally chokes and smothers a host of marine animals and habitats that can take hundreds of years to break down. Sunlight and heat cause Sorry about that. Sunlight and heat cause the plastic to release powerful greenhouse gases, leading to an alarming feedback loop. As our climate changes, the planet gets hotter. The plastic breaks down into more methane and ethylene, increasing the rate of climate change, and so continuing the cycle in a loop. Sorry about the Zoom notification.
Go on, no issues. Go on, no issues.
Okay. Plankton. As plastic breaks down into small particles known as microplastics, they are eaten by marine animals, including plankton. And why should we care about plankton? So these are also more examples of many different species of plankton. While these tiny powerhouses play a crucial role in taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and water and isolating it and storing it in deep ocean sinks. Although the full effect of this are still being studied, when microplastics threaten plankton populations, more carbon will re-enter the waters and atmosphere. So given that our oceans have successfully absorbed between 30 to 50% of the atmospheric carbon produced since the start of the industrial age, it's easy to see just what's at stake. This leads us back to the plastic consumption on land that is driving this growing plastic pollution crisis. Here is also an example of plastic production on land. The more plastic we make, the more fossil fuels we need. The more we affect climate change. The growth and production of single-use plastics has jumped from 2 million tons in the 1950s to 359 million tons in 2023. By the end of 2023, 2/3 of which has been released into the environment and remains there. The only way we can now address the problem is to curb the production of plastic, especially of the single-use variety, to increase recycling. In conclusion, reducing plastic use and plastic waste is the way forward. Governments need to make policies and laws that push industry to improve plastic management and limit the impact on the environment. This is critical if we were to begin to reduce greenhouse gas emissions that are accelerating climate change and need to help protect our marine environments. It is time to put single-use plastic under wraps and begin reimagining a future without it. Thank you. And in case anyone would like to get in touch, here is my email, Twitter, and Instagram in case you'd like to learn more about my initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you so much. When I told them that you were just about 8 years in age when you started this plastic campaign, and yesterday, my mama told me that you are 15 now, 7 years of this campaign. And in just 7 years, UN has adopted this year as beat plastic pollution. So it must be very close to your heart. So I would love some young student to ask you questions. You can call her Didi, you can call her Auntie, you can call her whatever you want. She's a very quiet girl and she's a very happy girl. And she's one of my favorites from the young climate activists because she responds. She always responds. Lispriya Kangujam, who is our own hero, she's traveling to Italy. She'll be there tomorrow morning with us. And some of them, otherwise, most of the young climate activists, when they become important and bigger, they usually don't respond. So Lily is not like that. So any questions you can ask her, please. Sana? Unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Greetings. Hello, Lily. First of all, after work, I'm really inspired by your work. And my question to you is, what is your vision for the future in terms of protecting the environment and reducing plastic globally? And what steps do you think are necessary to achieve it?
Well, how I imagine the future without microplastics, I would like to see a future where most habitats and environments have been protected and that plastic usage has been heavily reduced. And I also think that was a very good question as well. And how we can take steps to reduce that is, of course, as I mentioned in my presentation, is that governments need to take responsibility to reduce that production of single-use plastics. So then we can start from there as well. And once again, thank you very much for the question, Sana.
We also have Kashish Methwani, says Climate Supermodel India and Miss India International 2022. She was busy with some other things, so she just got caught up. She is a beautiful lady. She also works a lot for the environment and for environmental causes. So the Pekka is on the screen, Kashish is on the screen, Lily is on the screen. Shoot your questions straight away. Kashish, unmute yourself, please. Next question. Jaskaran, you have a question? Unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. I just had one question to Lily, that how we as young people can use social media and technologies to spread awareness and amplify our voices.
Could you by any chance repeat the question, please?
Yeah, sure. My question was that how we as young people can use social media and technologies to spread awareness and amplify our voices.
Well, I think that using social media is a very good way to amplify our voices as young people, as I assume plenty of young people, of course, have access to social media. So that means many different people will see it, and as many people will see it, especially young people, they'll get inspired, and then of course will spread the message. So I think that as young people, it's good to, of course, spread awareness on both social media and acquaintances that you know. I think that's how. And also, thank you very much for the question.
Thank you.
Then Vanya, you want to ask, and who?
May I ask the question to Kashish ma'am?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Go ahead, Vanya.
So my question is to you, ma'am. There is a line that is by Albert Einstein that the world that we have created, it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. So how can one change their thinking towards a sustainable environment?
Wonderful question, Vanya. And yes, it's rightly said that we can only change the world by changing our thinking. So, actively taking steps yourselves, and then while you're doing so, encouraging your friends around you. That way, step by step, you will change, you will read up more, you will know what to do, how to be more conscious about the activities that you're doing. How can you be more conscious of whether you're using sustainable items? When you're going to the market, are you asking for plastic, or are you actively saying no even when it is being offered to you? So taking these small steps will change your thinking, and while you tell your friends to do the same, little by little, it can have a domino effect, and that way you can make an impact in the entire society at large.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
we have 3 minutes more, but I think we can take 1 or 2 questions, because then we need to move on to Dr. Niall McCann, who's a National Geography Explorer. Then we have some artificial intelligence experts waiting to be interacted with, and they're also running your campaign. We have tied up with Cognizant, which is an artificial intelligence company, and they will be impacting depending on the students' input, bringing up a social profile for you and what your actions are causing harm to yourself. They'll come back to you. I think most of survey forms have been filled up. Also, we got 2,000, 3,000 entries so far. So they are ready to interact with you. So 2 more questions. One quick question from Arihant, and then we move on to Dr. Niall McCann.
So greetings everyone. My question is from Lily. First of all, I got inspired by her, and then I started cleaning my surroundings. So my question is that how can I showcase my work, and then people could help me clean our city?
Could you repeat the question, please?
How can I showcase my hard work and then people can join me to help me to clean my city?
I would probably say to once again spread awareness, be it people from school, be it family, be it acquaintances, as it is very important for not only young people but for overall people to spread awareness about what they are currently doing for the environment. So I'd probably say to spread awareness about what you're doing, and also I think it's very good about what you're doing, and I'm very thankful that you were inspired by me. Thank you for the question as well.
Thank you.
Last question. Who's going to ask? Ronnie.
I'll give my chance to Sambhavi, because Sambhavi
I'll tell you, Ronnie has been helping out the students with framing questions and what kind of questions can be asked to the guest also, because we have to moderate it all the time. So thank you, Ronnie, so much. The background work is very, very important for all of us. Yes, Ronnie.
Sambhavi, can you ask a question that you want to? Sambhavi, you need to unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you for giving me the chance. My question is for Lily. So I wanted to ask that where did you get the inspiration from to do something for the environment?
That's a very good question, and I have multiple inspirations, of course, but I have 2 main ones. First, well, ever since I was born, I've been a very big fan of not only the environment, but just biology, paleontology, and all of that kind of things. And I've always been passionate about the environment. However, the person that kind of sort of inspired me to create my initiative would probably be my grandfather, as the first time that I did something for my initiatives was when I was walking with him, and we saw lots of plastic on the road. Like with every step we took, there was more and more plastic. So while we were picking it up, he said that every piece of plastic that finds its way onto the ground will somehow find its way into the ocean. And he's very inspirational. I'm currently in his house right now, and he has lots of books on the environment. He's been to plenty of places, including India, and overall, he's a very big inspiration for me. And thank you very much for the question once again.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you so much. I wish somebody asked the question to me. I would answer. I get inspired with the garbage around me, but there are things of people. So they propel you to do things. And we will be moving on to next session. We have a fantastic interaction with Dr. Niyal Mekan, National Geography Explorer and the trustee of Royal Geographical Society. Is one of our patrons also. Then we move on to Ridham Bhati and Deepak Dogra from Cognizant, who are building our AI projects with them. And then we'll be joined at 5 o'clock Indian time with a very fantastic personality who will put your mind at complete peace. So I advise all the adults here to be in their session. He is Dr. Louis Alvarez, who is a follower of late Dr. Mahesh Yogi, and he's also the Vice Chancellor of University of Caribbean, and he's the leader for TMA, or Transcendental Meditation in Latin America. And after that, we are again joined by Tusi Foundation, Celia Huang, which is a Buddhist foundation organization, which does a lot of work on environmental protection, especially with plastic bottles and recycling plastic. So I will request JK sir to play track B38, and all the guests who are here, thank you so much for being here. I hope we can stay a little longer. And of course, you're most welcome to join any other session till the end of this event, which will be around we have just completed 4 hours, so 20 hours more to go. And thank you so much. JK sir, can you play B38, the interaction with Dr. Niyal Mekan? Good evening, Dr. Niyal. This is 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. evening in India, and we are sitting in New Delhi, and you have joined from UK. Welcome to the 4th edition of the world's longest and largest environment online event, Earth is Calling, Act Now. And I'm very grateful that you're here today. I remember 4 years back when I messaged you the first time, you so happily replied, and despite your so busy schedule, despite your lectures, adventures, explorations, you have been with us throughout all these 4 years. You've always made sure that one of the videos somehow you had a bit of contribution to our event also. I'm so grateful because our target audience is mostly youth and young students. And when they are able to interact with people on the ground level who have such high profiles, but they have spared their time to talk to them, it's the greatest inspiration that we can give them. So thank you very much and most welcome to this show, this event. I have 2 young students from Model School Delhi, and they will be asking a few questions they prepared for you. And I'm sure that you'll put in your expertise into covering into your answers, not only the cause that you work for, the life that you have led, but also to the event itself. Thank you so much. I hand it over to Barminder now to proceed with that. Before that, Dr. Niyal, an opening statement from you.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Barminder, a 12-year-old and an Act Now youth volunteer from Modern School NCR Delhi.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Nandini. I'm 13, an Act Now youth volunteer from Modern School NCR Delhi.
So beginning with the first question, we believe in the undeniable healing powers of outdoor and adventure. Millimeters to mountains has really put to test the very grit of human nature. So please let us know what propelled 3 young men with life-changing spinal cord injuries to climb Europe's largest ice cap in just 11 days.
Thanks for the question, Barminder. So as a bit of background for those that are listening, I had a spinal cord injury in 2016, which results in quite a bit of paralysis from my waist down. And as a result of that, I've met various other people who have also suffered similar injuries. And 2 of these guys, Darren and Ed, I've become quite good friends with. Darren is a complete paraplegic, so has 0 sensation from his chest down, and Ed is an incomplete quadriplegic, so has partial effect of everything from his neck down. We came up with the idea of trying to ski across Europe's largest ice cap, which is called Vatnajökull. It's in Iceland. It's 140 kilometers wide. And then having to manage all of the issues of a spinal cord injury while also doing what is a difficult enough expedition for an able-bodied team. All of us have issues regulating our temperature, controlling our bladders and our bowels, just with strength and coordination and all of these things that would normally make it challenging enough for any human being, let alone what we were going through. We put together this expedition, and in 11 days from middle of April earlier this year, we managed to ski across Vatnajökull, which, yeah, we suffered or endured every possible condition you can imagine, from pouring rain down to minus 27 degrees centigrade. Quite astonishing change in climatic conditions, but had some wonderfully serene moments as well. We witnessed sundogs 22 degrees either side of the sun. We witnessed a mirage which brought a mountain over the horizon from under the horizon as a result of the mirage, and various other exceptional atmospheric phenomena, as well as just having a great time. We got on really well, and we were very fortunate to succeed and finish in 11 days. And now, yeah, settling back into life at home is easy by comparison, but we're delighted to have overcome that challenge.
Wow, so that's actually quite moving.
Thank you. And I should have probably said that Millimeters to Mountains is the charity that was set up by Ed, which helps to support people who've suffered mental or physical trauma and uses adventure in the outdoors as their means of recovery. And we're thrilled to have been raising money and to continue to be raising money for Millimeters to Mountains, which is a charity of which I'm also an ambassador.
Thank you,
So
sir.
moving to the further question, when I opened my eyes for the first time on this planet, I found myself surrounded by technology. Do you think technological development is a threat to environmental conservation?
Great question, Nandini. Inevitably, it's both a threat and potentially a solution, like all of these things. As we have industrialized, we've needed more and more energy, and generating that energy and the materials that we need in order to fulfill our industrial ambitions as nations are damaging on the planet. But now we have all of those things. We also have the technologies that we need in order to be able to reduce the damage that we are having. But I think it's important that we also don't forget that the best technology out there for keeping the planet healthy and safe and in balance is nature itself. We can use AI, we can use tech to try and solve the problems that we have created. But the best solution for those problems is to invest in nature and in nature-based solutions.
So moving on to the next question. Maintaining biodiversity is a huge challenge, and our lives as humans depends upon it. Yet we see scientists suggesting one thing while politicians are implementing, or rather not implementing, quite the contrary. So how do you think we, as youths, can bridge this gap?
Great question. I think one of the issues we have is that political life cycles are quite short. So politicians are thinking in terms of 4-year voting cycles or 5-year voting cycles, whereas as scientists, we're thinking in terms of generations, many generations. And what is now apparent is that the mistakes that were made by the previous generation and have been made by the current generation are having a manifest impact on our lives now. So the best time to act was 40 or 50 years ago. The second best time to act is right now. So we need to crack on. In terms of what the youth can do, I think there's a lot of things to bear in mind. You will be the politicians of the future. So please don't forget that you are engaged on a planet that needs us in perpetuity, not just in terms of 4-year voting cycles. So when you are in politics or in power or in positions of influence, use that wisely. Even if you're not a politician, you are at least a voter. We have a democratic right to elect the people that then implement the policies that are in their manifestos. Use your vote very, very wisely. I think all too many people are a little bit short-sighted about how they use their vote. And if you're voting for politicians that are enacting policies that are damaging the planet, you are voting to damage the planet. And likewise, the converse, if you're voting for people that are protecting the planet, you're voting to protect the planet. A massive thing in today's day and age is the power of the employee. And as people graduate, you are going to become a very, very valuable resource to companies. If you are unwilling to dedicate your labor, your work time to companies that are damaging the planet, then those companies will have to change their practices. There's no market for Shell or BP or Exxon if there's no employees. So understanding that your labor is valuable and powerful, I think, is a really important thing. And especially those of you that are lucky enough to have considerable talents that are really attractive to these types of organizations, they know that they need the best people. And if the best people won't work for damaging companies, then those companies will change their practices.
So speaking of youth, I'd like to ask you, what is a piece of integral advice you'd like to give me right now as a 12-year-old to work towards our environment?
Yeah, believe that you can make a difference. And you can. 12-year-olds have just as much understanding as I do at 41, really, when it comes to the world. And maybe probably less cynicism and you're less bashful. So one of the things I've come to understand is that politicians will listen if you go and knock on the door and speak to them. Businesses will listen if you knock on the door and speak to them. Most adults lose the courage to do that for some reason, but children tend to have that courage. You're not afraid of authority to knock on the door and speak to people that are your elected representatives and that are the companies that represent your local area, and keep on doing that as you get older as well. Do not lose the courage of youth.
Sir, as we all know, you are one of the foremost wildlife explorers in the world. What makes you engage with such deadly creatures?
Yeah, I guess lots of things. I was really lucky to be brought up in a family of people that loved spending time in wildlife, in nature, and got a bit of extra enjoyment out of spending time with the types of creatures that see us as legitimate sources of food, or that are particularly dangerous for one or other reason. But my dad really, really encouraged me into this type of thing. My mum really encouraged me into this type of thing. And my brothers have had very, very similar trajectories to me. But we still have to forge your own path. And there comes a time when you stop sitting in the shadow of your parents and you start to branch out on your own. And I realized at some point in I guess, my late teens and early 20s that I wasn't just doing these things because my parents wanted me to, but because it was important to me to, and because I loved it too. I love spending time in nature. I love interacting with wildlife, dangerous or otherwise, and I love spreading the message to the rest of the world that we need wildlife for our own survival, and it needs it has its own rights to survival at the same time. So yeah, I was very lucky to grow up in a family that introduced me to this, but now it's part of me. It's not just something that my parents encouraged, it's very much a part of me.
So as we see, hear and know, we've already made colossal mistakes in handling Mother Earth and its graceful creatures. So how can we, as citizens of tomorrow, mend our wrongs and fix our extremely broken relationship with nature and wildlife?
Yeah, you're right, our relationship with nature is broken, but it's fixable. And I think things are changing. People are understanding that we aren't just living on the planet alone, and that we have to share it with our fellow inhabitants, and that if we don't, the consequences for our own societies are dire. What I want young people to understand is that you are the way that we're going to guarantee that happens in perpetuity. We still need my generation and the generation above to stop behaving so badly and to start changing our practices, but we need pressure from the youth. And that pressure comes in many, many forms. As I've said before, it comes from voting, it comes from employment, but it comes from innovation as well. It's your innovation that's going to enable us to find sustainable ways of continuing our economic growth. As societies, we build our economies based on some form of growth, but that has to be within the confines of a finite planet. There's no such thing as infinite growth on a finite planet. And it's the innovations of youth that are going to enable us to continue to have successful and thriving economies on a planet that is also able to thrive.
So, as a very committed conservationist, where from do you draw your strength to work tirelessly for the cause? That includes supporting ACT now.
Yeah, I guess I partially draw my strength from my family in that I was brought up to believe that that we as humanity are not alone on the planet, that we share it and we need to share it. And given an understanding that nature is wonderful in and of its own, let alone for the impact that it has on us. And then I guess I've been surrounded by people that are utterly dedicated to protecting the planet as well for so long. People I've chosen to surround myself with. And I've also seen the opposite. I've seen people that have a throwaway attitude to life, that are unconscious in their consumption, or even consciously negative in their consumption, consciously over-consuming. And I've developed a really strong intolerance of people who spend their lives and don't try and improve the planet around them. And that improvement can be small, just by having a positive impact on your friends and family around you, or it can be large, changing policy that affects our climate and biodiversity. But I really believe that everyone that has the ability, and everyone should have the ability, should try and have a positive impact on the planet while they're here. We only have one chance, really. And well, certainly within my belief system, we only have one chance. And so the time is now, we must act.
Dr. Niall, that brings a question that I would like to ask. When we started this event 4 years back, it was an offshoot of Corona times because we couldn't have physical conferences. It was difficult to get people around, and we started it all. And then we said we are going to run a 24-hour event because usually we have this planting day that occurred from one corner of the planet to the other corner of the planet. We ran this event, but it happened. And later on realized it's possible on this platform to try to bring youth and students in touch with real climate champions, which would be otherwise impossible. So again, thank you very much for being with us. But we often cite that the youth play a major role in environmental conservation, and they have a major role also in reversing the triple planetary crisis of climate, pollution, and biodiversity loss. But in practice, the support is very less. You either have to be influential youth or belong to an influential family or somehow to be picked up by bigger agencies. The policymakers have a problem. They can make policies, they can't implement them. Governments are short-sighted. And we know that people on the ground level, the NGOs, smaller ones, not the bigger ones, the youth, especially at young age, because they have the audacity to challenge anything, they have to be involved. Unfortunately, what has happened that not all youth change makers also reach down. Once they acquire the position, they're always going up. They're not looking down. For instance, even this event, when you try to get them on board, it's very difficult. Some of them are very supportive, they come. Because I believe then, like these two girls are interacting with you, maybe after this interview, they'll be lifelong supporters of conservation. So how do you think we can provide support? And how do you think it can be changed, or maybe majority of smaller people on ground level and more youth can be involved directly in the process?
Yeah, we just have to keep on engaging. Education's a big part of it, but engagement's more important. So I receive a lot of emails from students and young people around the world, and I respond to every single one. And I really think that people who have got themselves into a position of influence should take that influence seriously and see it as a responsibility. The types of people that feel responsible for the planet, I would hope, would also feel responsible for engaging the youth in planetary protection as well. So yeah, my challenge to everyone that's got themselves into a position of seniority is to not draw up the drawbridge after you. Keep it open for the next generation coming through. Keep engaging people. Go into schools. Go into universities. Spend time on the front lines with local wildlife groups, enthusing them. People need encouragement. People don't survive well in a vacuum. They need to have constant reinforcement that they're doing the right thing. And so those of us that can, we absolutely should spend as much time as we possibly can within our busy schedules, further engaging the youth in protecting the planet, because that's what we need. We need to keep people engaged. Every child is born with a love of the planet, every single one. At some point, most children become cynical and start doing things that are selfish and not outward thinking. What we need to try and do is break that connection somehow and make sure that adults still have the same enthusiasm for the world and the same spirit of collectivism that children do. That's a difficult thing to do, but we've got to try.
Yeah, and because of people like you, we are doing that, and we are very grateful. I'm also supportive of the UNEP because they also been in support, and I keep telling them that this is the platform you got to be outside the UNEP buildings and UN buildings, and this is the platform that you can actually make a lot of influence in the young people's lives. So thank you very much. Parvinder, you have a question again?
Yes. So you've mentioned several times that studying extinct species is your prioritized skill. It is your love and passion. So how can we, as commoners, help these dying and disappearing species?
well, I wouldn't consider yourself a commoner for starters, or if you are, then I would also consider myself a commoner, because we all start from very similar backgrounds. Just believe that you can do it yourself. So yeah, people like me, absolutely, it's great to have the support of people like you. And the simplest way to do things like that is to look for small charities and try and raise some funds or profile for those small charities that are operating on the front lines. But really, I think the best thing to do is to look at yourself and what can you do physically yourself. And yeah, believing that if you've seen someone else make a massive change in the world, you can do it too. If you've seen someone else go out and work in an amazing environment and make a difference to a species or a habitat, you can do it too. I think what's most important is that people believe in themselves, and that support could be remote or it could be in person. Both are very, very important.
So, I want to be an explorer and conservator. How do I go about it?
Yeah, well, simplest thing is to pick a place on the map that looks interesting and then go there. Not much more difficult than that. So my early trips, early explorations were simply to places in the world that looked interesting to me. And then from a biological perspective, so when I was starting to study species, again, it was what am I interested in? I'm interested in giant otters. Where do they live? They live in the heart of the Amazon. So I've got to go there to try and find them. So whatever it is that fascinates you, that makes you passionate, that interests you, book your flights or book your bus ticket and go find it.
Sure, sir. That's the next thing I'll be doing now.
Fantastic.
So speaking of studying giant otters in the Amazon, you've led many remote jungle expeditions. So could you share how you faced and successfully overcame extreme minimalism and simplicity during these missions?
Yeah, I guess just being tolerant of change is really important. Lots of people get very used to a comfortable life, whatever that is, but I was always very tolerant of change. When I was young, I used to take it really quite seriously, and I would practice sleeping without a pillow, so that if ever I was in a situation where there wasn't a pillow, I would be used to it, or brushing my teeth without water, or all these other things. I don't know why I felt I needed to train for that type of stuff, but I did. And then just being accepting of whatever circumstance you find yourself in, I think is really important. Like we should be flexible, we should be accepting of these things. And that enables you to enjoy a much broader range of environments if you're not very particular about the types of situations that you're comfortable in. I simply find myself comfortable in more or less any kind of circumstance, and that's enabled me to enjoy being in these environments as opposed to just to tolerate it.
Sir, also, as we've heard, India recently reintroduced cheetahs in its wildlife system, and they've been imported from Namibia and South Africa. Right. So, do you think this method of reintroducing species can work out in non-native environments as well?
It's a good question. The wisdom of that introduction is yet to be determined, and whether it should have been wiser to have introduced them from Asian populations of cheetah rather than African populations of cheetah. Only time will tell. I think humankind has to be really wary of interventions. We've made so many interventions that have backfired upon us that we have to be sure to do the right thing. Interventions absolutely can have an impact. Reintroductions can have a really positive impact on the environment, but we shouldn't be blind to the unintended consequences. So any such intervention should be really, really well thought out and not just done for clicks on your social media. And lots of organizations, lots of countries are all too enthusiastic to make those types of interventions because it will generate them some positive press, as opposed to something that will actually have a genuinely positive impact on their biodiversity.
Dr. Niyal, I have an interesting question. Coming from a continent which lost almost all of its wildlife long way back, that's the European continent. And
where I
you
live.
had to conserve wildlife habitat, you have to go to Africa, maybe Asia, something like that. So how challenging it was to first find wildlife in your own continent, and then maybe train yourself and learn these conservation techniques, and then travel towards Africa or Asian countries to be actively involved in it. Because I think half of the life is spent in Zimbabwe.
I spend a lot of time in Zimbabwe now, and have previously spent a huge amount of time in Latin America and other places. And you're right, Britain in particular has a terrible record on conservation, lamentable record on conservation. That's slowly changing. There are some fantastic reintroductions happening, to go back to Baminder's question, and some other really excellent interventions that are trying to bring nature back to the UK. But it is difficult for a young British biologist to find the type of natural history in our own environment that inspires people. But you just need to look more closely. We don't have tigers, and we don't have gaur, and we don't have elephants or rhinos, but we do have badgers and red deer and hedgehogs and fabulous bird life. And so you can get enthusiastic and inspired by our own wildlife. One of the things that's interesting, Britain has a population that is massively engaged in conservation. Very, very interested. The Royal Society for the Protection of Birds has 3 million members out of a human population of 60 million. That's a very high percentage. 5% of the population is a paid member of a wildlife organisation. That's massive. But we still have this terrible biodiversity ourselves, massively negative impact on our biodiversity through intensive agriculture and development, overuse of cars and all kinds of other things. So we do need to start focusing a lot more efforts on our own biodiversity as well as on foreign biodiversity. Britain is very, very good about exporting our conservationists and having a positive impact on biodiversity around the world. We need to do better at retaining some of that expertise and applying it to our own country too.
Sir, I would like to ask for your opinion that if we as responsible citizens work in the right direction, where do you see the world in the next 20 years in terms of human progress?
Yeah, fascinating question. I think difficult to define progress, but for me, the most important act of progress that we can perform is in what many people might say an act of regression. It's in giving something back to nature as opposed to just taking for ourselves. We have progressed so much by being relentlessly consumptive and always building things up for ourselves. And I think the most important way we can progress in the future is to start giving something back to the planet as well.
Sir, to end on a very light note, could I just ask you one thing?
Of course.
Out of all your adventurous experiences, cycling over the Himalayas, rowing the Atlantic Ocean, and skiing across Greenland, which one was your favorite and what enchanted you most about it?
Oh, really hard to say. Because again, favorite is difficult. Rowing the Atlantic was an astonishing thing. It was definitely the most challenging, and I feel I benefited the most from it in terms of personal development. But a lot of it was pretty unpleasant. You're constantly terrified. You're very uncomfortable. It's a really difficult thing to do. So it's difficult to define favorites. For me, the favorite expedition I've probably done was in 2014. I went out to eastern Greenland and spent about 2 weeks climbing and rock climbing and ice climbing, and then flying off the summits of mountains in eastern Greenland using a thing called a speedwing, which is a small paraglider. And I did that with my brother. And the reason that expedition was my favorite was not only because we were doing something that was almost continually enjoyable, but I was doing it with someone that was brilliant. And spending time with great people doing great things is what I'm all about. You can have wonderful experiences by yourself or despite the company, but it's nice to do these types of things with really good people. And so for me, that's probably the most special exhibition of all, because it was done with my brother, as well as doing something that was challenging and in an extraordinary landscape.
Okay, I think that's the end of all their questions, little questions, and you've been very patient also. I must let you know that I'm also again grateful for Dr. Niyal, because he's also one of our patrons for Act Now, and I remember sending a small email and he readily agreed even without looking left and right. And all our efforts are targeted towards young students like you across the world. When the event day, I hope to be reaching around 1 million students and youth across 113 or 15 countries. The only objective is that if some of you can turn into conservators, protectionists, and as Dr. Niyal would say, we need people from all walks of life, because environment belongs to all of us. Rather, we belong to the environment that we live in. So thank you, Dr. Niyal, so much for being here. I'm sure that this discussion, this interview will be remembered by at least these two students all their life, and wherever they are, whatever they do, they will always try to further the cause that we are trying to push them to. So thank you so much. We'll stay just for a second for a screenshot, and then we'll formally close this interview.
Thank you, sir, for spending your precious time with us.
Thank you for having me and asking such great questions.
So anyone has a question for Dr. Nial? Raise your hand. Oh, wow, they are quite smart. So I will put Rhythm on screen now. Rhythm Bhatia and Captain Dogra with Captain Deepak Dogra. Yes. Okay. And Rhythm again has to be brought on the screen. Okay. So we have two very interesting people. We have literally shot a little bit into their time as it happens when the guests start interacting. From now onwards, entire schedule is very, very, very packed. After Rhythm and Captain Dogra will be joined by Dr. Louis Alvarez, who's a fantastic peace healer. And I mean, he just puts you to peace. And after that, Taiwan, Japan, Romanian students and teachers, apart from Tushi Foundation from Taiwan, will take over for another 1, 2, or 3 hours. And after that, we'll be joined again by Eric Solheim, who's the ex Undersecretary of United Nations and Undersecretary of United Nations and Executive Director of United Nations UN Program. And then also by Admiral Y. Pradeep Chauhan, who will be in the session after a couple of hours. So welcome Rhythm, welcome Captain Deepak Dogra to you. I hand it over to you. You can make your own introduction. Rhythm is also carrying out the project AI for You and I, which is a joint initiative by Cognosai, which Rhythm and Captain Dogra are running effectively. Is the AI company which talks about AI solutions, complete AI solutions to you, and it will analyze the impact of your actions and environment and how it is damaging you. So when things start hurting yourself, then you start taking actions. So that she will outline, and then she has her presentation also. So both of you most welcome to this show. Hand it over to Rhythm. Can we unmute Rhythm and Captain Dogra both, and also make them co-host because they have to present? JK sir.
Okay, hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yes. I will introduce you first, sir. I have your profile here. Captain Dogra is a very cool person. He's an ex-army officer, and he has a corporate experience about 35 years. Some of you are not that old either. And he has had he has been with many companies like Enron, which is in huge news these days because of their power things and how they use natural resources. He was worked with General Motors, Skoda, and also Volkswagen. So Captain Dogra, to you, please.
Thank you so much. Uh, uh, you have already introduced me, so no more introduction about myself. I would just like to add that I am a co-founder of Cognosai, and I am speaking on behalf of Cognosai. And Rhythm is the founder; she is the CEO. I am a co-founder and president. So, first of all, I would like to thank Rajiv and Act Now and his team, for inviting us here in this elite forum where we can put our views, and Rhythm can also give her expertise into the area of artificial intelligence. So basically, we are artificial intelligence company, and we are operating from Pune, and but we are supporting people all over the globe. So just I will share my screen. I hope the screen is visible to all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Very much.
Thanks. So just to give the set the tone, because I'm not the subject matter expert. I will set the tone, and then Ridan will take on to give her expertise on the global warming, how AI can support the existing challenges. So we all know what global warming is all about. It's a average global temperature rising every moment, as I talk to you. And then there is addition. We are adding to to the misery, to our own misery, by increasing the greenhouse effect. So I mean, potential effects we all know. First it comes to when we react, when it hurts us. So this reaction, we are doing a knee-jerk reaction right now, because first of all we experience that our health is getting affected. And why it is getting affected? Because we have weather related issues, we have a poor air quality, we have water pollution, scarcity of resources, and all this stuff. And then other species and natural habitat is also getting impacted. We have water resources diminishing, we have agriculture issues, loss of we have shortage of water. The coastal areas are affected because the water levels are rising, water is getting warmer, forests are getting depleted. So all these issues, I mean it is just a general knowledge to everyone. And there are, of course, natural reasons, but man-made reasons are more impacting. So we have everywhere, you see the list is unending: greenhouse emission, fossil fuel, black carbon, industrial production, and farming related issues, where we are damaging our own planet, we are damaging our own house. So deforestation is happening every now and then. I'm in my village, and I see, when I see my village, a few years back, it was lush green everywhere. Now I see a lot of buildings coming up. The greenery is going, and the water is, very scarce. So all these issues, So, but we keep talking about, issues, and then we have certain solutions also. But how to find the right solution? We are right now on the left side of the screen, and we want to move to the right side of the screen. So what we can do, how AI can support? AI is supporting in many other areas, like medical, aerospace. You name a field, and artificial intelligence is there. So I think now, Rhythm, I will hand over to Rhythm, to just take on the actual question and answer to that. Over to Rhythm.
Thank you, Captain Dobra. I will just share my screen.
Yeah.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, continuing from the point where Captain Lugra left us, can artificial intelligence help us? Is it the answer to our problems? So for that, first we will have to understand what exactly is artificial intelligence. A basic definition of AI can be that it involves using computers to do things that traditionally require human intelligence. So why do we need AI when human intelligence can work on it? Well, because we as humans will take a lot of time, and if we want to process large amount of data in different aspects and in different ways, that will require a lot of human effort and a lot of time to reach to the results. So that is where artificial intelligence can be helpful. The goal for artificial intelligence is to be able to do things like recognize patterns, make decisions and judgments just like we humans do, and help us in our analysis and in our procedure. What we can do with artificial intelligence is, first, we'll have to collect the data. We can gather, collate, and process data at macro and micro levels. Just like Captain Dogra and previously Dr. Nial was talking about, that there are a lot of issues here, like in agriculture and water levels. Their water level is depleting or rising in unnatural manner. There are forest fires happening. There is a lot of plastic wastage that is happening. So we can collect all these data and we can analyze it and see exactly what are the root causes, what are the reasons for these things, what steps we as humans can take now, how we can act now, and control these processes from our own side along with the government. We can also help the government to take these decisions, and we can submit these data and analysis to them. Mitigation is that we can control emissions, we can control the energy efficiency and greenhouse effects. We can, make people aware that instead of using these normal electricity, if you switch to solar electricity, this will be your result. This much you can save, and this much of the energy can be saved, and this much of pollution can be saved because of that. We can make people more adaptive and resilient. We can project long-term trends. We can create early warning. We can manage crisis, predict the patterns. From satellite images, we can analyze the reasons of. We can also predict that this place there will be an earthquake, even though that place might not be prone to these earthquakes, prone to the floods that are happening in an unnatural manner. So basically, with this support research activities, we can do data analysis and we can make recommendations for a climate-friendly environment. This is the kind of work actually that we'll be doing together, AI for You and I. Cognizant has collaborated with ACT Now. We have created some Google Forms where we are collected data for few thousands of students, where we'll be the steps that I mentioned, exactly these steps we'll be taking care of using artificial intelligence. We have collected some database from daily basis of lifestyles from these students, and we'll be analyzing these data. We'll be making some predictions and then making them aware on how they can live a climate-friendly and sustainable lifestyle. Okay. This will be a small token and small act of climate change from Cognizant's side. What can we expect further? Well, when we have these data sets, like I was saying, we can perform these satellite data analysis. We can fill these gaps and provide the answers to the questions on why this climate change exactly is happening. See, we talk about climate change. We all want to make some efforts, but we don't know how we can make these efforts. So we can fill these gaps with the help of artificial intelligence. We can also help government using the AI on what type of policies they should come up with, because when you make predictions, when you do predictive analytics, it's like it's like for weight loss, like we go to a dietitian or we go to an exercise expert, and they say that if you lift these much of weights, or if you perform if you work out for daily for half an hour based on your metabolism, you can lose like maybe 2 kgs of weight in next 15 days. So it's similar to that if you make this conscious effort today, if you use this much less of these much of plastics, if you switch on fewer lights, or if you move from air conditioner to normal fan or something of that sort, so you can save this much of energy. So artificial intelligence can help you in this sort of decision making, and what impact your decision will have in future. It's like this. So this was a very small example. We can also help governments to design being created there. What is the impact of this construction that is happening? How can we make a construction in a more eco-friendly manner? How can the paint, even the paint that is being used, how can we switch to an eco-friendly option for this thing? How can we ensure, track the energy that is being used? How can we ensure that everything is being recycled and reused? So we'll have to first track the energy usage. We'll have to track the wastage that is happening. We'll also have to predict the requirements. See, when we say sustainable, it should be eco-friendly as well as comfortable for people as well, so that they are more encouraged to use this type of lifestyle. If we manage the traffic in a better manner, if people are not stuck in the traffic jams, of course, it will help them manage the pollution as well. If there are more good options for people to maybe use bus or train for their work, they will be encouraged to use that instead of using their own vehicle. So we talk about that, okay, you should use more public transportation, but the public transportation should be more smart and more accessible for the people. Then automatically this will happen. Like in Delhi, the metro system is good, so people are more encouraged to use that as compared to other cities. We should have a waste management system as well. So we should track, identify, and manage the recycling as well, and maybe have like in Pune, in metro cities, we do have this now, that they should be we should make people aware about the waste segregation system. And this, where AI comes in the picture, that we can analyze that, okay, if this is the amount of wastage that has been taken care of. If we encourage people to segregate their waste, this is the amount of savings that we can do. And maybe take feedbacks from people. Will they be open to such things? If not, what is the problem that they have? Then this can help people make government and authorities take better decision on, okay, this is the problem that people are facing, that, okay, this is why they are not being encouraged to do the segregation. How can we come up with a better solution for this? Or now AI for artificial intelligence can be used for smart supply chain and logistics. Well, AI can help you optimize routes. It can help you consolidate the orders. So when I say optimize the routes, so a lot of times what happens is these supply chains, they work on first come, first serve basis. That, okay, this is the first order that is here. This can be in Pune. So one package will go to Pune. Another package will be delivered to Delhi. Third package will be delivered to maybe to Chandigarh. Now again, another package is coming. Again, this is being delivered to Pune. So instead of that, they can optimize the path. They can be like, okay, maybe send all the packages to Pune at once and send only one vehicle there. Even while delivering, they can have smarter route options, so that the delivery guy, if he is delivering a package to some society, and then another after 2 days, again, he's coming to the same society. Instead, he can come at once and deliver them together. So this will help us, even in a teeny tiny bit, it will help, but when you see the larger picture, it will help to save a lot of greenhouse gas emission, a lot of the pollution that is happening. Maybe suppose what I have noticed is that if I order like maybe 4 clothing items or 5 clothing items, they come day after day, even though it is ordered from the same app, same brand, same thing. So instead of that, they could send all these items together. They can consolidate this order and send it at once instead of sending it day after day. We can also help these organizations to utilize the capacity while using the AI, like maybe create a tracker system that okay, like this is your go down, these are the things, because a lot of times these food items, they get wasted. So maybe that can tell that, okay, this item has this expiry date coming up now, and you should just like get rid of it now so that someone can consume it instead of wasting it. We can have some sustainable cross-border logistics options as well, that track the amount of wastage that is happening, track the amount of pollution that they are causing, track the amount of the impact they are causing on the climate, and then maybe give them options that, okay, this you can move to, instead of this sort of thing, you can move to this another option, which is more better. And because these are corporate organizations, we can then even analyze the cost versus climate impact, so that it's not so that we can give them options that are more that will also help them save money as well as have a positive impact on the climate for them. this will, even they will be encouraged to, choose these options this way. AI for smart telecom networks. So now these days there are a lot of talks on how much of carbon emission, small cell phone and the telecom operators, these networks are having. So I was reading about this that artificial intelligence is now they have opted artificial intelligence to reduce their carbon emission from their assets, uh, design the cell phones in the manner that can optimize the power consumption. So you can have when you are not using your phones, they have come up with the options that you can just put it on the battery saving mode, power saving mode. You must have noticed that your cell phones now have, which they did not have incorporated in the traditional design. They are developing the apps which are more green. So there is something known as green tech that is coming up. So it reduces the emissions that is having, it reduces the impact your applications have on your server. You can even track in your cell phones, you can even track how much power each and every app is consuming. So you can choose that, okay, you can just put them on the sleep mode and save the amount of rays that are coming out of your cell phones. Apart from that, we can also make people aware that, okay, not to put their like that, there are basic things like not to put your laptop on, switched on for large amount of time, or when it's charged, then do not put it for charging for large amount of time. So those are the small steps that we as consumers can take from our own side. In the end, I would like to leave you guys with the note that artificial intelligence can surely strengthen the climate predictions. It can enable the smarter decision making from our side to decarbonize the industries that we are building, to transport and to work out how to allocate the renewable energy resources. But still, we need to be mindful of the softwares that we are creating and the usage that it has. And we should keep in mind that these codes do run on the servers, which have some sort of carbon emissions there. So it is the solution, but we should not like fully, but we should be mindful and we should be aware of what we are using and how we are using it to create a positive impact. Thank you, everyone. You feel free to contact me with your questions or to Captain Deepak Dogra. These are our email IDs. And now I'm open to the questions.
Rhythm, thank you so much. And I am adding somebody on the spotlight. Good evening, Dr. Luis Alvarez. So much welcome to you once more in this program. And I'm sorry there was mix up with timings, but you are here finally, and we're looking. I told my team to keep looking out for you. We call Act Now is basically geared towards environmental awareness, climate action, sustainability, and peace. Because ultimately, that is the one thing that we all look forward to. All our efforts are geared together. And there is nobody greater on this show than to talk about peace than Dr. Luis Alvarez. He's currently the Vice Chancellor of University of Mahasi of Latin America. And he is one of the greatest disciples of our own Dr. Mahesh Yogi. And I don't have to tell about Mahesh Yogi. People can search him out. India, everybody knows him. So welcome, Dr. Luis Alvarez. Before that, Rhythm is an artificial expert, AI company expert. She's working out on a project with us to link climate actions of our actions on climate and personal health, and we'll analyze the data with artificial intelligence and throw it back at the young students. The entire purpose of this entire conference and all these experts and panelists and people from all walks of life from around the world is to interact with these young students and youth, which are because their life is affected and it is them who wants to take lead and they have to take and change things around pretty quickly. So welcome, Dr. Luis Alvarez. Any opening statements? Then we might ask some questions, take some student questions because they are dying to interact with you, Rhythm also and Captain Dogra also. We did overshoot a bit of time, but we did not expect there'll be so engaging sessions here. So over to Dr. Luis Alvarez, and then we take some questions from students and teachers also. I told teachers especially to interact with Dr. Luis because they are looking for peace all the time. Yes, sir. Can you unmute Dr. Luis? JK, sir.
Done.
Namaste, Rajiv, and welcome and thank you to all the family of Act Now for this beautiful meeting and the gathering of all people around the world to protect Mother Earth and to think together and create consciousness, which is so necessary for protecting our planet and doing all that we all are concerned, which is how we are going to take care of this precious place that we have received and what is going to happen with the challenges that we have created ourselves. Because the first thing when we want to act now is we have to recognize that we have created the challenges. Maheshiji used to say, it is on the way of thinking of the people that not only the problems happen for themselves or for the peace of society, but also for Mother Earth. So we cannot disconnect ecology from the human brain and the human behavior, because our biggest body is Mother Earth and is part of the body of society, is part of the body of our individual life. So what Maheishi proposed is there is a lot of progress in quantum physics and in biology about unifying the fields of knowledge. And, you know, the different sciences try to unify it, because if you find a unified theory, then you can explain all the phenomena of that in one go, and then you will have a field of knowledge that is integrated. That has been accomplished in physics, and that's been accomplished quite a lot in biology and physiology, and it's starting to be accomplished in sociology and ecology. So then what it means is that all the different, like for example in physics, the electromagnetism, we use the cell phone, so we know now we are using photons to communicate in this Zoom call. So that is electromagnetism. Or the weak interaction, or the strong interaction, or the supergravity, they all get unified in one field. And that theory, the grand unification, and then what we call Lagrangian of the supergravity of the unified field in physics, shows that we are all one, that there is one field that connects all of us, and it's not only connecting all matter and energy in the universe, connects all intelligence. So in society, in nature, there is one level where all different, but in one level, in the most basic level, we are all connected. So that means we are all part of the problem, we are all part of the solution. And we say, yes, but if the government doesn't change the policies, what we can do? Of course, we are seeing in your presentation so many good things that people are doing everywhere in the world, trying to be active with urgency to do. There is one basic wisdom, that the governments are conditioned by the collective consciousness of their countries. So if we improve the quality, then the governments will be forced to make better decisions to protect the planet. So that is what we are working in. And in sociology, the father of sociology, Durkheim, said there is a mood of society that can be affected by a group of individuals. That means in a society as a whole, a small part of the population, if has a trend, affects the total population gradually. And that is being proved in a number of studies. And Maheshiji found, where the scientists working with him in 1975, that when you have 1% of people transcending, practicing these technologies of consciousness, transcendental meditation and advanced programs, they had an effect in reducing the crime in the cities where this was happening automatically, and in the others not. And then more studies were done, and also happened with less accidents. And then also happened with protecting the more sensitivity, more awareness of environment, more protection in that community of nature than in the others. And how we connect, because there is a field that connects all of us. There is a social quantum field. And that is Ilya Prigogine, the Nobel Peace Laureate of thermodynamics, was saying, there is, if you put a car outside and you forget it for 6 months, you will not find a car. It will oxidize because there is a force of entropy. So there is a concept of social entropy also, and social entropy that affects the environment and creates degradation. So our studies are what a group of individuals, any group, any human being, by the fact of being human being, has the right and has the ability to protect its environment and create peace. So what we are doing, and we are doing that, for example, in India, and we are doing that around the world. We have schools, we have communities. We have a community, for example, in the Himalayas. There are ladies that they do organic farming and collect the honey in the Himalayas, in Uttarakhand, for example, and supporting the organic farming and to do it totally ecologically. At the same time, we teach them to create peace from within. And we combine that, and we do that in the schools, universities, etc., all over India, and we do it all over the world. And we research what happens. And we are building up the groups. By November or September, they'll be in the highest level that the scientists will be able to measure the changes in environment in world leadership just created by their own people creating peace. And we already have some good indications, but they are preliminary, so we cannot publish or inform. They are just initial studies by the universities. But what we want to tell you is you can change your environment if you create a community, and you change it in two ways: acting now with actions to protect the environment in the surface and create new policies, and acting in and working in that field of peace that when we do it together in enough number, forces a positive reaction in society. So society as a whole becomes more aware and makes a transformation. And that's something that we can all do. And there are a number required, like, for example, a country like India, just to give you the idea, né? It will be like groups of 4, 5,000, 10,000. It's not a big number compared to the total population. So we are collaborating and we are searching collaborations in that field. We are sponsoring those programs. We just need the commitment. And we are very happy to be here to tell you we can do it. We can still, we have a narrow window that nature has put to itself because of our way of acting. But still we can use that narrow window because the human capacity is so powerful. The knowledge that we have from the old past in India and the modern science is so powerful that we still can do it if we have the will. So that's what I wanted to tell you, and I don't know if I've spoken too much, but that was my message to you as a humble contribution to all of you are doing, and my congratulations for this conference. Dhanyavad and namaste.
Dr. Louis, thank you so much. I know you, I always tell everybody around, your words put us so much at peace. We find it's very peaceful even listening to you. And you can see there are two different contrasts. One, you trying to improve our environment through peaceful methods, and one girl here right on your side using AI to bring about environmental improvement and bring peace. So it's a nice interaction. That is exactly the point of bringing all of you together in interaction with these young kids, just about age 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. So they see there are lots of people of great importance who are trying to do things for them, and they also need to get involved, because I still can't understand. We human beings are very good at destroying things first and then trying to find all means in order to bring back the destruction to recreate things. If you take the first step of not trying to harm the nature in the first place, lots of our problems will be resolved in the very beginning. So it's like that.
Education didn't train us to align ourselves with natural law, with nature. We haven't had that education deeply rooted. Now we are trying to have it. But that is the cause. If we had that done generations ago, we will have a better planet. But let's take it from where we are and do what we can now.
Yes, sir. That is exactly, because in my course of journey also, I have interacted with lots of people of different origins, different caliber, different economic realities. But the moment you touch their pain points, they're all the same. They're all carrying a huge burden inside. And to remove that, we need to be very, very, as you said already, that we need to look into ourselves and try to, you can make a lot of impact on the environment itself by looking into yourself. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
There is one level inside us that we are one with nature. We are the water, we are the atmosphere, we are the ocean. And from that level, you can whisper changes in nature. And that wisdom is a wisdom that we can incorporate, and we have to incorporate while in the surface we are doing all the other actions and all the fighting for new policies and all the necessary actions. But the most basic action is from within.
We also have a very interesting lady from Australia. I'll just put on the spotlight. She is from the Buddhist Foundation. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Ronnie, how do you do it?
It's Sichi Foundation. Hopefully I pronounced it right. They've been working for a pretty long time about all the social work and natural awareness. And they do recycle plastic, and they make T-shirts and blankets, and they do actually donate to a lot of flood victims around the world. And I've been seeing this news from Taiwan, and I thought that this is a platform they should share what they good things they're doing in Taiwan to the people around the world. And I'm really grateful that Celia Hung and they agreed to make a presentation about their foundation and their activities. And thanks a lot for coming to spend your weekend here. Okay, I appreciate it a lot. Celia.
So Ronnie, we have 15 minutes time, and I'm not going to show any videos because lots of students want to ask a lot of questions. It will be a great opportunity to interact with people of that caliber we have on the screen. So can you coordinate with the students and let them ask questions? I don't know what kind of questions they have, but I'm sure the people who have will have all sorts of answers for them.
Sure, yeah.
Yes. Akshit, you want to go first?
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Greetings, everyone. My question is to Ms. Bhatia, that I was very happy to see that you talked about the carbon footprint AI is using. But my question is, how do we make AI less thirsty and talk about the water footprint? Because many AI models also use a lot of water. So that's my question.
Then that's what, thank you, Akshay, very smart question. How we can make AI less thirsty is to adapt to the coding languages. So you can see what language you use, they have certain percentage of carbon footprint that is there. Then you can design smarter neural network models. The more heavy they are, the more neurons they are using. It's like same like humans. The more bulky we are, the more unhealthy we are, the more unhealthy lifestyle we'll have. So to choose healthy models, choose green tech, read about green tech, choose the right sort of coding languages that are out there. Then while designing the model, make it more optimal. So if you make it more optimal, it will have less footprint automatically.
So thank you, Akshit. Any questions? Riti? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
Any questions to Dr. Louis, because he might have to go as well?
Sir, I'm having a question to Ms. Bhatia only.
Okay. Ask.
Right now we are being in somewhere in a phase of water shortage, but I want to ask, like, how can AI help us cope up with this water management or water shortage?
Well, first we'll have to collect the data set on water shortage. What are the reasons that are that is causing it, maybe? Then how we are using it at our homes. That is what we have actually have few questions regarding that only in AI for you and I, that me and Rajiv sir have designed the questions. So how much of water we are using, how much is actually required, the way we are taking our baths, even these small things in life, they cause bigger impacts in the end. And apart from that, even the societies, what sort of management they have, do they have rainwater management or not, rainwater harvesting, are they using those things, these things or not? So once we have collection of these data sets, once we have answers to these questions collected from people from various walks of life, various societies, then we can design a system that can analyze it and then, like voila, give out the answers to our questions.
Rhythm, they are trying to frame, in survey, you've been asking, collecting data about what kind of
Yeah.
natural footprint they have. So they are asking you what kind of natural footprint you are taking. Barminder, you have a question? Unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. So actually, I had a very common question. It's a very basic question that in a world that is already so obsessed with artificial intelligence and using it so regularly, from games to applications, Ma'am, could you please share how you think artificial intelligence has an impact on the mind of today's generation related to environmental conservation?
I think
Well-
Rhythm should answer and then Dr. Lee will answer because he will have a very, very smart answer to how these technological influences have ruined our life, mental life, and peaceful life also. So Rhythm, you go on, and then I'm sure that Dr. Louis will add something to that, how to find peace out of this technological jumble. Yes.
Well, because of like in today's generation, we have an app for everything. That's why we thought that why not develop a website and develop an application that can create awareness. We have an app to track our sleep. We have an app to track our calorie intake. We have an app to track each and every movement of our life. So why not create a tracker that can create our greenhouse gas impact, our impact in the environment? And that will, when something is there in your face, it will force us to seek more sustainable lifestyle and seek more sustainable steps in the life. Now over to Sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. I mean, you see in the world when you are tense and when you have stress, and when many people have stress in a society, the society becomes stressful and loses peace, and then there is violence and there is concern. And when this happens, there is toxicity socially. And then we can use the technologies that the advancements, which in principle are very positive. Even artificial intelligence could be very positive, but then it can be used, it can be perverted because this tension in the mind of the people makes and derives in all sorts of things that they are more complicated and they can compromise our protection, for example, of the environment. So we need to change the mind of the people. We need to change the way we are thinking. So we align our mind with nature. And nature is not outside only in the trees, it's inside our heart, inside our consciousness, in our brain. We are nature. So when we learn how to do that, we can protect better the peace of society, and then the progress of society will be used only for positive values naturally, because when you are well, you only want the well of others. But if not well, and if there is all tension and you sell more by showing destructive values, it becomes a fashion, and then artificial intelligence becomes dangerous. Okay? Thank you for your question.
I agree with Sir, actually. It's more about the outlook and the way you use. That's why I always, whenever I am doing work, I ensure that it's AI for good rather than AI for destruction.
That's
so we
it.
can, yeah.
That's it. You can use it for good or for bad. If the right person uses, will be for good, like our written presentation. But some people may use it for the opposite.
So we are trying to make Rhythm do good with us. Anyway, next question. Yashmit, do you have a question? Unmute yourself.
Arya, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. Good
Please
evening.
ask.
Question. Like you just said, an AI has a big carbon footprint, and training just one AI model can emit like 6,000 like 6,000 pounds of carbon dioxide equivalent. So ma'am, how would this particular AI like not do the same? And like how are we distinguishing these two types of AI, which is eco-friendly and also which is having this much carbon footprint?
Well, that's what I said, that there are green tech models that are out there. So do study about it. And then each and every coding language has its own carbon footprint, has its own impact that it can create. Then another is that coding in an optimal manner. The more loops you include, the more time it has, the more iterations that will happen. But instead of that, the more smarter way you code, there are less iterations, then it will automatically, like these small steps create to a like boon boon se sagar banta hai. So these small steps have a big impact. So if it's in more optimal manner, it will have less carbon footprint for sure. Apart from that, if you use a statistical model instead of like an LSTM model for some place, like a heavy model, you use a small mathematical model because that's the requirement. Then of course it will have lesser impact. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
We are almost near to 6 o'clock, and the session now belongs to Taiwan, Japan, Romanian students. Any questions you want to ask? Parminder, last question, very quick question, one sentence question. You can go. Wait. Can we unmute her?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for your answer. I think that it was quite inspiring, and I want to ask you that as such an inspiring personality, do you have anything to say to aspiring entrepreneurs or aspiring people who want to go into this artificial intelligence industry and build such forums?
Well, be aware, be mindful, try to choose sustainable choices, try to build optimal models that, and it's important that you are solving the problem, of course, but also your green footprint should greenhouse impact should not be higher than the the solution that you are providing. So we should have we should be aware of the good and the bad, like the source said. We should be, the intention should be good. So then be aware of the coding languages that you're using, be aware of the footprint that my model is causing, be aware of the impact that it can have, good and bad both.
Okay, what I'll do, I will call Rhythm to our school one of these days and CP and have a day-long sessions on technical AI, not kind of how much water you're consuming, all sorts of things, because that will throw off our business also. So we need to protect our businesses. And I'm very happy to have collaborated with Rhythm. It's a new young company and she's very energetic. I'm very, very happy that she's trying to build up. Money is hard to come by. We are trying to find money also to complete our project, because everything is essential, but we need to find a balance between the two. So we are almost 5 or 30 minutes into the session, and we will I'll keep on speaking because we need to take a 2-minute cut so FB Live doesn't get disrupted. It will be restarted after Celia Hung will come online, and then after that the entire 3-hour session is I will hand it over to Ronnie to conduct between Taiwanese students. There are some Romanian students, some Finnish students, and there are 2 very interesting guests. If you can stay on, they are very young. They are grade 2 students who are going to make presentation, and they are so good at making it out. So JK sir, can I request you to take this cut, take this time? I will keep on conversing, so we are still alive and live here.
Sure.
And
sure,
let me know,
sure.
then I can hand it over to Ronnie
Sure,
and
sure,
Celia.
I'm doing
And
it.
Rhythm, you can stay on if you have free time. It's perfectly fine.
Grateful to be here.
Ronnie sir.
Yeah.
Tell me your impressions of the day sitting in Taiwan.
So
Ronnie is
far
in Taiwan
good.
right now. In a city which is very environment friendly. Every single building is a green building, literally. And we had a fantastic conference some years back, and I was nearly surprised the kind of technological advancement they have, the kind of bullet trains they have, but still they have maintained the ecological balance so well. Some of these places are so well kept and naturally preserved. I think we can all do that, but it's political will and will inside us also. So Ronnie, your impressions of the day?
Yeah, so far good, because this year we're focusing more on students. Mostly, previously we have all these specialist speakers. They go for hours and hours. But lucky that this year everyone knows that our the attention span is shorter, so they try to wrap it up as soon as possible. And also that makes the students the chance to ask more questions. So this is more involvement of the youth than people like us. Old people keep talking and preaching. And I'm pretty sure the youth is tired of it. So now I can see the difference. And they've been staying for almost like 5 or 6 hours now. And they're still energetic because they knew their voices are heard. So this is a great thing that we're supposed to do it. And also just wanted to mention to Raji was here in Taichung. He was here, I think, 11 years ago or something. And he stayed in Taichung. He planted a tree on the Wenxin Park just to tell all the students who are from Taiwan. So we planted a kind of fir kind of trees in the center of Wenxin Park. There's a auditorium. So we planted it, but unfortunately it died after 2 years. And they replanted it again. So it's still there. So Taiwan is, as Rajiv said it, things can go smoothly. They do feel it, the need to maintain the biodiversity, because we lost a lot of things. So we know how valuable it is. Sometimes we take things for granted, like in India. So I think people in Taiwan, they really know how much they lost it, and they don't want to lose it anymore. So please, for the youngsters, I just want to just say it, don't take things for granted, okay? And I have this, mostly Lumi. Lumi is a grade 3 student, and I know her from grade 1, and usually I call her little lily plant. She may be one of the reason for me to do a lot of action, because when I was teaching her, she will come and explain to me certain things straight at me and tell me that what she feels. So there are a lot of actions I actually practice in my daily life because of Lumi. Because I used to go out to have a cup of coffee and use these cups, but she reminds me to use my reusable cup. So I need to say thanks to all these youngsters, because sometimes you can make the difference. So hopefully we can hear from Lumi and then from Celia. So Lumi, can you make a Lumi to spotlight?
Yeah, I'll put Lumi. Who is the expert, Celia or Lumi? Bigger expert.
We start from Lumi. Lumi is the action expert.
See,
Lumi is my, Lumi is my little lily plant. I call her now. Because I used to go to have a cup of Lumi.
Wow.
Hi, Lumi. Lumi, can you unmute yourself? I can't hear Lumi. Wait. Yeah, you need to unmute. Okay, now Lumi can.
Okay,
yes, Lumi.
Hello, everyone. I'm me from Taiwan. I'm really excited to talk of all of you today. I want to talk something important that affects our planet. Pollution caused by traveling, especially by airplanes. I know traveling is super fun, and sometimes we need to visit our family who live far away. I have a family here in Taiwan, but also in Finland, which means sometimes I must take some long flights. But I also want to think about how my trip can harm the earth. We should all do that. Airplanes makes a lot of pollution. These release gas into the air can make our planet warmer and cause climate change. But today I want to talk about a less known issue. Airlines use a lot of throw after away, one use, or sometimes not used at all. Here are so many examples, but here are a few. Plastic cups, plastic fork and knife, food packaging, plastic straw, blanket and pillow packaging, plastic water bottles. Also, throwing away food items on a flight is a big waste. On airplanes, they serve us meals and snacks, but often got a lot of waste because it's made of the way that it cannot store and reduce. If the airlines were more mindful about the food they can serve and what happened to unserved food, they can make a positive impact on the environment. Many airlines have tried to fix this problem of waste on flights by doing test flights. They found out it's possible to have flights with zero waste. Means that they do not throw away any food and many of recycle, compost, or any waste. But the problem is it costs more money to do this. So many airlines don't do it because it's more expensive. I hope that we can show these airlines that we care about Earth and we are willing to pay a little bit more for the flight that don't harm the environment. By supporting airlines that try to be more eco-friendly, we encourage others to make changes too. Together, we can make a big difference and help our planet to stay healthy for a long time.
Okay, Lumi. Okay, Lumi, is anyone have a question to Lumi? Any student, do you guys want to ask any questions to Lumi? She's from grade 3, okay? She's only grade 3 student, but she believes in action. You know, usually I call her teacher too, because she tells me, Jeroni, you're doing wrong, okay? So if you have any question, you can ask her, okay?
Priyanka, can you ask question? Keeping her this thing in mind, keeping that she is.
Hello, Lumi. Hello.
Hello.
So can you tell me who has inspired you to be a part of this session, this act that we are a part of? Who is your inspiration? Who is your role model?
I watched a video at school, like my teacher showed me, and I got inspired by the video that I want to talk about planes.
Okay, great, great, great. Thank you.
So Lumi, what do you want to tell all the students here? What do you want to tell them? What they need to do for helping the nature?
That you can actually, there's kind of plane that use fuel that actually made of plants, but it still causes air pollution. But it has actually less pollution than you thought.
Okay. So what do you think they were supposed to do in their daily life? What are the small action do you think that they can make a difference?
Maybe they can bring, like, when they go to Starbucks, they don't use paper. They bring their own packagings.
Okay, so they're supposed to use more reusable stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, Lumi, do you want to tell others?
No.
Okay, it's fine. Okay. So Lumi, happy to meet you. Okay, nice to meet you. Okay. I just want to mention to you, Lumi's dad is from Finland, so that she often traveled to Finland. Not often, but she's traveled to Finland. So she's kind of very diverse. She have a great viewpoint, and she likes to take care of the nature. So Lumi, thanks a lot. Appreciate it a lot. Okay. Now I will welcome Celia. She's been staying there for a while. Raju, can you put a Celia on our limelight, spotlight?
Close.
She is there.
Okay. Can you put Celia?
Yeah,
Can you hear us?
She is there.
Okay.
Hello, good evening.
Okay.
Awesome evening.
So Celia, so happy that you are part of the Act Now conference now, and hopefully the world can understand more about CG Foundation and the good things that you do to preserve the nature and recycling activities. Okay, so it's all yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm speaking on behalf of CG Foundation, and I've been a volunteer with this organization since 2006. And as a volunteer, I say in our term that everything we do everything out of our own pockets. So if we need to travel, we need to pay for our own living and traveling, lodgings, and everything. So so that will be like what I mean when we say a volunteer from our organization. And now I would like to share a file. Can I share my screen with you guys? Can you allow me, because it say I'm I cannot share a screen.
You
Can
can,
you?
please. You can share the screen.
I can share a screen now. Okay. Okay. Okay, this is our organization, Buddhist Compassion Relief Tzu Chi Foundation, and it was funded by the Dharma Master Zheng Yan in 1966. And we are a nonprofit organization based in Hualien, Taiwan, which is a remote area very far away from all big cities. We also an NGO under the UN umbrella. The name of our foundation, Tzu means compassion, Ji means relief, and together Tzu Chi means relieving suffering with compassions. And we have 8 areas of work: charity, medicine, education, culture, international relief, bone marrow donation, community volunteerism. And the 8th one will be our focus today, the environmental protection. But I will go through every mission like very briefly. Charity is that in this program that we try to help people that are in disasters, and we do a lot of charity program. And so the most important thing is to inspire people to have compassion and to have empathies. So the photos on the screen will be our volunteers in Mozambique and in Zimbabwe, when we are trying to do the charity work in the local communities. And the second one will be our medicine mission, because during our master's home visitation, we find out most of people, they are poor because of the illness. So from 1972, I believe, 1972, we start to offer free clinics. And now we have 7 big hospital in Taiwan, the whole Taiwan areas. And the third, backward a little bit, because we build hospitals in the remote area, and we find it's very difficult to recruit nurses and doctors. So at that point, we need to have education. So we try to have a nurse school and to help the upper original, the indigenous girls, and to get education and to become a nurse, and also help us to get a nursing stuff for our hospitals. And besides that, we now have kindergarten, elementary school, junior high, high school, and colleges and universities. And we also have a Sunday school for students who are not enrolling in our schools. But everything we try to do is we take all our students to show them to respect their parents and take them to the nursing school or nursings, everything, to show them what they need to do, and to help other people to be other people's savior or the guardian angels. And the fourth part will be the culture part. At the very beginning, we start with a newspaper. And the reason we have that is because people donate to our foundation, and we want to make people know what their money goes to. So this is the very beginning of it. Now we have a TV called .itv, and this .itv we have no commercial ads at all, and everything is supported by our our donors, and who are willing accept our missions. And the 5th one will be the international relief. We start in 1991 when there's a big disaster, where either it's an earthquake, flooding, or typhoon or anything, and that affect a big area. Then we try to be a help in the area. And so on the top of the screen here, this is our local volunteers in Poland, and they are helping the Ukrainian refugees. And this part here is what we do to help the latest Turkey earthquake. We are appointed by the ambassador of Turkey here in Taiwan to collect all the goods donated by the people here and ship them to the Turkey for them. And on the lower left corner, that would be me. That was me in Istanbul, Turkey, and to visit the Syrian refugees. So this is an international relief, and this is a bone marrow donation because for the blood cancer is very big. The bone marrow is really genetic based. So for Asian, there was no bone marrow bank. So start on 1993, one patient with blood cancer came to our master, and she asked, maybe we can do a bone marrow bank. So start from 1993, we have a bone marrow drive. So that will be like 10 cc of blood to get your everybody's genetic data set. And if there's a matching, we will go help. And this one was very important, the community volunteerism. That means all our volunteers, they are grouped by their residents. So if there's an incident happen, we can quickly team up to provide local help. And also we do in this way, we do less traveling to reduce the carbon dioxide emissions. So if we go back to the international disaster relief, you will see we only send very few volunteers from Taiwan to every area. Then we try to use local volunteers. So in this case, in every community, our volunteers, they can do recycling program, they can do bone marrow drive. For instance, here in Taichung, we have 29 administrative district by the government, and every district will have to sponsor one bone marrow drive each year. And on top of that, we also do vegetarian food promotion because we are a Buddhism organization. But on top of that, because of the animal farming provide a lot of gases that's bad for our earth. So cause the greenhouse, the global warming effect. So that will be also another thing with our community volunteer that will do. And we do also do charity and elderly care and everything like that. And for the environmental protection parts, it starts with let me see. It can go back to 1990, August 23rd, which is 33 years ago, when our master, she was giving a speech, and she went through a street on her way to the speech. The street, she saw the street was with a lot of litter on it. So she asked her follower and disciples to collect the recyclables and to do good to the society. So her follower follow her leads, and so we started this environmental protection program. And it's our motto that there's no trash. They are all misplaced city resources. And as you can see in our photos here, we have a lot of volunteers that do the the recycles. But this is also our problem here. You can see they are all in their seniors. You can see all these ladies here, they are doing the recycle. They come regularly, like they come once or twice a week to do these recyclable things and to sort out the recyclables. And the things we have is because our volunteers are aging and we don't have a new generation who are willing to come to do the recycle in regular basis. But our master called them the living bodhisattvas, which means they are doing the good deeds for the society, for the human being as a whole. So in this way, in our organization, we see this is a spiritual circular because all these old peoples, old folks that come in, they believe they are doing the good deeds for the earth and for their younger generation, for their kids, for their grandchildren. So they live their spirituals and they are happier and they won't be home by themselves to do nothing and wish for the children to come home to visit them. So this is a very good parts of the program. And also it's an economic circular because all the plastic bottles, the glasses, everything they recycle, it has economic values. And so it becomes another economic circulars too. So what I want to show you on the screen, you see this blanket. This is our first recycled products. They made by the PET bottles. And this is international disaster relief sites. And in most of the actually in most of disaster zones, if they have flood or if they're earthquake, we give out the thermal blankets for free. So this is how we do. Our volunteers, they collect the bottles and they sort them. They clean them first, and then they compress them into the bales so they will be easy to travel by the sizes. So after we compass all the plastic bottles, if we need 5 trucks to ship out, and after we compress it, we only need 1 truck. And then we can shred them into small flakes. With heat, we melt it into the pellet like the small chips. Then with 300 degrees Celsius, all this the yarn can be extruded from the chips and then make into the woven and make into the fabric. And this will be our final products. And we use the blanket as samples. So here, we go back a little bit. When we sorted out the plastic bottle, most here in Taiwan, the plastic bottle come in 3. Majority of the bottle come in 3 colors. One is the see-through one, the green one like the Pepsi, and the other colors. So first thing we need to remove the cap and the ring because they are in different plastic category, and we only use the bottle itself to do all the process I just mentioned. And the cap and the ring we use it to do the file folders, the cover of the folders. They are the same type of the materials. Okay, and so when we make into a big piece of the fabric, and remember the blanket that I just showed you. So when we cut the sides, both sides, we use a center part for the blanket, and the cut off area we use it to do the scarf. So we try to utilize everything. So for or I use it for the other stuff. And for the blankets, we approximately use about 60 PET bottles, or around like 1,548 grams of PET chips. And we try to use as a zero waste and recycle to recycles. So when we mean zero waste, because of the cut off the area, we use as a scarf. And then after the blanket was worn or torn, or like in some other thing that cannot be used again, we recycle it and do the same process again. But then the recycle, like double recycles blanket will be in the darker blue colors, because it's like when we heat the leftovers, the food of the color will change. It's like that. And all this product you see on the screen are made by the recycled PET bottles. But we call it compassion technology because we have these products because our volunteers have some issues when we are doing the disaster work. Let's talk about this LED tap. And because when we are doing the disaster relief, we need to free our hands. And most of disaster zone, they are like blackouts or like power shortage. So we need to have lights. And this solar panel can generate the energy for the battery inside. And this is you can see at where the arrow pointed, and there's the lights. And you can see, and the back will be a help. So one time when we were in a disaster zone, and we are trying to provide free clinic, and the doctor uses to check out throats. And also for this part, we can see this also is an over sunglass that can put over your glass. And the area is here because when one of our volunteers trying to do the work and they try to take out the debris and everything, some object falling from the top and hurt hurt their eyes. So we have this to protect our volunteers. And we also have this puncture-proof shoe pads and anti-cut glove, and they are all things that we need during our programs when we are trying to do the international relief. So we call it compassion technology. And all these products you see here are also made by the dye yarn, which is when we recycle the PET bottles. And all these clothes are too. So, but then again, we don't have so many different colors. We don't have black, white, and navy blue, and try to use the original color of the PET bottles. We try not to dye the yarn with also fancy colors. And we try to let people understand when they buying our products, where the product come from, which recycle station the bottle is from, and when was it going to the pail and everything, and how much bottles they say we use to create these products, and how much carbon dioxide decreased by the people who buying these products, and how many gasoline, how many petroleum are saving, and how many waters are safe by using these recycled products. So what we're trying to do is recycle to recycle, and we try to do zero waste, and it's an economic circular, and it's also a spatial circular. And this is all you can see on the screen. These are the awards that we have receiving from all what we have been doing in this environmental protection stuff. And I have so much to share, and I think it's up, my time's up. But this is we here at Taichung Jingsi Hall, which is a branches of Tzu Chi Foundation. We have education side for the environmental protection, and this is a half earth, and you can see all the plastic bottles are put at the side of two bin here. Where is my here? So this is where we're trying to show all the people, especially for the kids, when they are coming to our sites. We will, before they come, we will put all these plastic bottles inside this half earth, so the earth will become like red, and to let them know the Great Pacific Garbage Patch made a great impact on our oceans and on our earth, and the earth is calling for help. And so the earth is having a fever, so the color is red, and we will ask the kids to take out all the PET bottles, and when they take out enough of it, the earth, the half earth will become greener and greener, and after all the PET bottles are taken out of this half earth, and it will become green. So this is an action that we have with all our visitors who are interested in knowing more about the environmental protections. So what we do is we try to teach the people who come into our site, we need to coexist with the earth. And the most important things, we have to be clean at the source, clean at the origin, which is we, the human. We should not try to consume too much fossil fuels, and we need to we cannot consume like the fast fashion, excessive consumption, and rapid replacement is all what we shouldn't do. So what we're trying to do is that we try to educate people, not just to recycle, because no matter how much we can recycle, we cannot outrun the people who produce all these recyclable products. So we try to educate people that they learn what they need to do. So we teach them refuse, reduce, reuse, repair. And the last way we can do is to recycle, because all the 4R before recycle are more important than the recycle parts. And here in Taiwan, we also have a 10-finger rhyme. We teach people like when they come into here, and they would know what to do, what to recycle. But different countries have different code, so this recycle part is only good for Taiwan area. And then we try to let people know we should practice environmental protection in our daily life. With local food, we try to eat seasonal food, and clothes, when we're trying to buy something, we need to ask ourselves, do we need it or we just want it? Is this a necessity? And we educate people, we promote people to bring your shopping bag when you go outside to shop, and we ask people to bring your own tableware and instead of use a one-time tablewares. And then we try to ask people, you like just this is the like utensils, everything, and the user scarf, and we bring our own glasses and we use a shopping bag. So this is what we can do to help the earth. This is what we promote, and our volunteer here are really to practice this in our daily life. And we have achieved 12 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals by the UN. So this is where you can find us, and they are in different languages. And if you are interested, and you can go to check it out. And I have more to share, because we also do recyclable clothes and make it to the eco-friendly wood and for paving outdoor patios. And we also collect PVC plastic bag to make it into a chairs. But then that will be it from now. So I can open up for questions.
Okay, it really is really great. Maybe we can actually have another session that you can interact with the students more. So I will let you know. Okay. So I hopefully that the students have some question to ask you.
I have a question, if you can.
Okay.
First of all, thank you so much for bringing to light such good work in such explained and very down to earth manner. So I think students will understand it much more.
Thank you.
Celia, you know, India, I don't know whether you have been to India or not, but it's a huge country, and there is very, very less recycling, especially of plastics, especially community based. I mean, if it is there, it is by companies or bigger organizations who recycle plastic. But as in community, we do not have plastic recycling so much spread around. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, you have a company who recycle plastic bottles, but not in a community basis. Is that right?
Yes, yes. So we are an NGO and we work with youth students. We want to spread this awareness much more, and they actually want them to do it on their own also as a part of their climate actions. Will your organization work with us in India?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's a direct question. Otherwise, we'll keep listening to you only. We can't do anything here.
First of all,
Because
sorry,
because I was there in 2012. There was a conference we had in Taiwan, and we were introduced to this concept around almost 12 years back. And since then, we've been trying to contact you. So this time, I think we met Ronnie in one of these expos or something like that, and we told them to invite you. So you know what kind of work we are doing, and our main focus is students and youth. So that's a direct question. I don't know whether it belongs to you or somebody higher in the organization, but please take it up.
Okay, I think the most important things, I believe in most of the area, if the country encourage people to recycle PET bottles, there must have some price attached to this misplaced city resources. So for us, we do the recycle in our branches or recyclable stations. They are funded by our own volunteers. They are the volunteer who do this voluntary, and we collect the recyclables and we sell it, and we get the fund to support the foundation, the Tzu Chi Foundation. But I think in your community, you can encourage people to collect the PET bottles and sell them for their own community use. And I think that will be a better way to promote it in different countries. And we do have project very close to India, which is Lumbini, because Buddha, the Buddhist, is from India, right?
Yes, in my hometown.
Yeah, so
I come from there.
Yeah, so we have a group of people, and we are trying to. We hope we can bring Buddhism back to the India, and so now is the big project there, and the first place will be the Lumbini, and then we'll start from there. For us, for our community, for our foundation, everything we do in every country, we have branches or local office in over 128 countries and regions. But most of the time when we go there, it's because there's disasters. and they need international disaster relief. And when everything, the first thing we go there is environmental protection, is recycle, is to do the trash classifications and to help the people. But we don't need to bring the proceeds back to Taiwan or to the foundation. We teach people all this misplaced resource, they are equal to money. And I think with this approach, maybe you can help out your community, ask people to do, because little money does count. And for us, our foundation start with 50 cents per day for 30 old ladies. And that's how we start our foundation at the very beginning. I hope I answered your question.
No, you don't answer the question. That's why I'm going to repeat it. I'm saying it's not, we don't want any money from you. You have so much of technological advancement, how to recycle plastic, setting up units and collecting it. You know, we don't want to work with governments. Governments are very difficult to work with, especially in my country. So we don't want to engage with governments directly. But I was saying, if we can work in collaboration, we don't want money from you. Work in collaboration with you in India, it will be much more easier for us to work around. And especially because I come from the place where Buddha was born and where he attained his Mahaparinirvana. Both places are next to my place where I come from. So in terms of collaboration, like right now you can see that our posters also see there are many organizations. The logo you can see, and we work in partnership. We don't give anything, we don't take anything, but we support each other's cause. So in that way,
I think you didn't get my answer either, but I think what you want to know, all these products I just mentioned was from Da'ai Technology Company, which is a company funded by some entrepreneur and donate to Tzu Chi Foundation. But now it's a 100% owned subsidiary of Tzu Chi, and they have all the technologies. And if you are interested, you can give me your contact information and I'll forward it to the owner of this organization, the Da'ai Technology Company, and you can see what you can do to do whatever, because all the recycled products become a new product. A recycled resource become a new product. All the technologies and everything are owned by this Da'ai Technology Company.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question, because you will help us get to them. And Ronnie is my representative in Taiwan. He is the president of Taiwan.
I know the
on behalf of India. On behalf of India. So thank you so much. Yeah, Ronnie, please. We will connect. We'll talk more about it. Maybe a longer session or maybe a more elaborate session.
Okay, I just want to ask if any students have one question or two questions, because we are running out of time.
Sorry.
Any students have a question? Please raise your hand.
Good evening, ma'am. I would like to ask, but can you provide us examples of how your foundation has worked with students and institutes to provide environmental awareness?
Can you repeat it again slowly, because I'm not very familiar with the accents there?
Okay, I was asking that can you please provide us some examples of how your foundation has worked with students and institutes like schools to provide environmental awareness?
Okay, our foundation, like here at my branches, we have education side. So we have a lot of students come in to see our setup, and everything that I just mentioned about the plastic bottle, pails, and everything, they are all set up in present for the student to know what we can do. And all the products that I just show you on the screen are here at our site, so students can see in their own hand, and they can touch it and feel it too. And also we have some interaction activities that we can do with them. And we can also take them to do real recycles. And then we also ask them, if you turn off your lights, or when you turn on the faucet, you don't open it like just so wide and to run so quickly. And we have so many things to show the kids. And sometimes we will encourage kids that you go home and tell your parents, you need to turn off your lights when you leave the room and everything. And in 2 months, in 4 months, you bring back your electricity bill, your water bill, and you show the decrease in there, and we'll give them encourages. So a lot of students, they are really doing very good. The younger they are easier to accept the concepts. They are not when we say the kids and adults they all have their own user routine, and they won't change and they won't adapt as quickly as kids. So with the change in your kids, and then you guys can influence your parents, which is the ideal things for the society as a whole.
Thank you.
Thank you.